Hey, it's Tim here with Expert Power Wash. Got another 8-foot skid here to show you guys. Seems like we've been pushing out a lot of videos lately. If you guys want to see more of our builds, trailers, flatbeds, you name it, ultimate minis, we have a bunch of stuff here on our channel. But I wanted to show you this skid. Let's take a look at this thing and I'll show you all the details. All right, I'm going to give you an overview of this skid. We'll do a quick spin around. I will warn you in advance, our skid walk around videos are usually longer than most of the other ones that you see. There's a lot of details. I don't give you a quick overview. I'm going to dive deep into this thing and show you all the details. There's a lot that goes into our builds and we're proud to show it to you. We'll start it here at the pressure washer. This is the Honda GX690. This is going to be 8 gallons a minute, 3,500 PSI. This is a gear drive. And for anybody that's not familiar with a gear drive, you got the little gear unit there that goes between the pump and the engine. It works similar to the way that a belt drive would work. It's able to suck water, except for you don't have to worry about the maintenance issues of a belt. You can see how compact that is. Fits neatly there on that custom built skid. If you look at the back here, we threw some extra goodies back here. You got a 45-degree street elbow coming off for the water feed, and then another street 45 there for the pressure washing hoses. We could have ran these straight off the back, but it would have made for a little bit of a mess with the hoses. So every detail matters, and that was one of the things that we did, just to flow those hoses neatly down into where they need to go, and I'll show you that here in a second. Like I mentioned, this is the Honda GX690. What you don't see a lot of times is it has an actual Honda muffler. These engines that are bought in bulk, you'll see a lot of the silver mufflers. Those are aftermarket. This is an actual Honda muffler. So again, sticking with the theme of quality. Down here in the bed, you have our brand new slim fuel tank. You can see how slim this is. Fits neatly on the side of the skid. Want to show you, I'm going to back up here and show you how much space is on this skid. I see a lot of people putting a back shelf in there and mounting a bunch of stuff to the bottom. I just don't like to do it that way. And I'm sure their skids work just fine, not criticizing the way that they build them. But for me personally, I like to keep the bed space open here. If you have blowers, garbage cans, Christmas lights, whatever you may be hauling around, you want to still be able to use your truck for what it's meant to be used for, work and being able to haul things. So there's not a ton of space, but there is a legitimate amount of space, probably near 5 feet. Kind of back up here, give you an overview of how much space is actually on this skid. We'll go back on over here. This fuel tank, this is something that a lot of people don't do, but this has an actual rollover safety valve. And what that does is, worst case scenario, if you were ever in an accident, there's a little ball, it stops the gas from falling out. But probably something that's going to be more useful to you is it works as a breather tube. So if the fuel was to splash up underneath this guy here, it would push the ball up, and then of course you wouldn't dump any fuel. That little part there, believe it or not, is about 30 bucks. So that's something that you're going to see on all of our skids. We could just put a little plug in there or a little barb, but you start sloshing around and you're going to dump fuel all over the back of your truck. Over here you have the 1-inch dump valve. No cheap hose here. Curitech Tiger Flex hose. This is 1 inch, so you're going to get a quicker drain. I'm going to explain that little system here in a second. But if you look at this, this is a special clamp. You can't even find these in the US. This is a UK based clamp, and it actually holds the hose a lot better. If you can look at the way that this is all threaded in there, everything's been leak tested, everything is sealed. You have actual banjo barbs here going into a Schedule 80. PVC ball valve. Again, that's the dump, so you can use that for washing off your hands, washing out your eyes, and then obviously dumping the tanks there. With the 1 inch, it's going to drain a lot faster, so you're not going to be waiting around if you need to dump water. Let's take a closer look at this little system here. Yeah, it looks complex, it's not. You got a 1 inch strainer filter. You got all those clamps there from the UK. We use those all the way around. If you look at the way that this filter is set up, you have stainless steel all thread, so that's actually bolted into place, so it's not going to shake around and rattle when you're driving. And then of course we're using the clean out on the bottom of that filter as the dump valve. So from a maintenance standpoint, your strainer filter is always going to be cleaned out. It goes into there. I'll try to get some closer pictures along the other side. As you can see there, how that just flows neatly into the back of the pump. After building a bunch of these, there's just no reason to cut a bunch of corners, especially on your plumbing. That's one of the fail points. If you don't do it right, you're gonna have a world of problems. All right, let's go on over to the hose reels. You got 200 feet, 1/2 inch soft wash hose. This is the ST510 gun. I like these a lot. I'm not into the big long wands. With our pressure soft wash hoses here, we have the fittings crimped on. You could do this a lot simpler. You could use a hose barb, stainless hose barb, and then a hose clamp, but then again, that's another possible fail point. We like to be able to just to screw it on. The nozzles here, you got a J-rod. You're gonna have a 0 degree, 15, 25, and 40 degree. That's all stainless. Aluminum hose reels with stainless steel manifolds and stainless steel swivels. This here is going to be your brand new Flow Pro. This is their newest version. If we can get around to the box there, I'll push the buttons if I can remember here while I'm shooting the video and show you how that works. Everything is plumbed very, very neatly. Get the hoses all rolled up. You see on the bottom of this, so if you want to run through the hose reel, all you have to do is just unplug the whip line, and then it just plugs right into there. Or if you want to use it for the downstream system, just peel off what you need and then plug it into that quick connect there. So very versatile system. You can use it a couple different ways. Going over to the next reel here, you have 200 feet of super high quality Fierce Jet pressure washing hose. This has been our favorite. It's going to be rated a little bit higher. It's rated for hot water, 310 degrees. It has a 10,625 burst rate, 4,250 max working pressure. Again, this is Fierce Jet. It's smooth, has a smooth jacket. It's gray, non-marketing. Just fantastic stuff. Over here you have a ball valve swivel. This is kind of an upgrade. I think it should be standard, but not everybody wants one. We do offer it to everybody. But it's nice to have a ball valve so you can quickly connect between like the gun, the surface cleaner, but this one actually has a Mossmatic swivel, 3/8 swivel on here. So this is all stainless steel. We could have used a cheaper swivel here, but stuck with Mossmatic. It's one of the best in the business. All the fittings, you can notice, all stainless. We don't like brass. We don't like that nickel plated stuff. It just tends to fall apart very quickly. Looks good when it's brand new, but falls apart real quick. Let's go on down over here and talk about this plumbing since we're right here in this area. This is 1.5 inch flow through plumbing. So this connects to the tanks. As you can see, there's a little bit of water in there. We were doing some testing earlier. And if I can get up close, this is usually where you see a lot of failures, is at these fittings, but you can see that the water tank has water in it. and there's no leaks. So this is something that we do with all the pressure washing skids that we build. We're going to leak test everything, we're going to run it, make sure everything is 100% perfect for you before you get it into your hands. 2 water tanks, and I'll explain this. So with them connected there, it actually acts as 1 water tank, but with 2 of them, it kind of baffles the tanks. So these are 12 inches wide. The water's only going to slosh up against the wall of each tank. Another thing we do here just for fun, water goes in the middle tank here, and then of course we pull out of the front tank. Then of course we've got a bypass there on the top. We got some 1/4 inch plumbing going in here. This is for the downstream system. I'll try to explain this. This is where I tend to lose a lot of people because it's complex, but yet it's simple. So if you understand the downstreaming system, there's an injector there, and what this bypass does is it closes it off. So it forces the water to come up here, and then of course you have the vacuum effect, pulls chemical, and it comes up through here. When this is open and the water's flowing, when this is like this, the water will find the path of least resistance and it'll flow straight out. So with that, it won't pull chemical. So that's how you turn the water or the chemical on and off with a bypass. And you guys have probably seen these with DN10 ball valves. There's manual ball valves. The only problem with that is you have to walk back to your truck every time you want to turn your soap on and off. So with this type of system, it turns it for you with a remote control system. We're going back over to where the plumbing actually goes into the tank here. The way that we plumb these, if I can show you. I love showing off our plumbing. We put so much time and effort and thought into this. Let's see. So you see that 1/4 inch hose? It goes all the way down into the bottom there, and you have slotted PVC or slotted filters there on the ends of them. So you have one that goes into the water, one that goes into the chemical, and then that goes over to this 3-way here. So this is basically a rinse system. So you would always have that on chemical when you're turning your Flow Pro on and off. You start the chemical, you switch your Flow Pro, it turns it off, and then at the end of the day or at the end of the job, turn this over towards water, turn your Flow Pro on, and then instead of pulling chemical, you're pulling water through that system. And then right in the middle, shuts it all off. Hopefully that makes sense to anybody that's watching the video. If you have questions about the downstream system, drop it in the comments. The downstream system is using the pressure washer with a low pressure nozzle to pull chemical. You can do quite a bit with the downstream system. Let's take a look at this. I didn't show you the box. So this is mounted all neatly here. This is the brand new Flow Pro. Go around the back here. I warned you that this was going to be a long video on our skids. I'm going to apologize, but not apologize. There's just so much to show you. And if I don't show you every little detail on this thing, we're not doing ourselves any favor or justice with the amount of options that we put into these things without talking about it or showing you guys. Right here, this is a charging point for the battery. Let me see if I can get it on here and show you. This is an actual NOCO plug. This is not one of those cheap Amazon ones. Completely waterproof. Let's take a look inside the box here. So this is going to be your battery box. You can also store things in here. This is locking. This has the downstream gun. This is going to be the ST2315. It has a ceramic ball and stainless steel spring in it. It's going to be more chemical resistant for downstreaming. You got nozzles, keys, books in here. You got the recharging system there that's mounted in the back. All the fuses and everything are in here. All right, over to the other side. Your back tank here, we didn't really talk about this, but this is your chemical tank. This is going to hold all your bleach. This is 100 gallons. We like these because you're not having to fill your tank up in between jobs. With 100 gallons, you're likely going to have enough to get through most days, unless you're doing some big, large commercial project. And of course, you may need to fill it up, but that's a lot of bleach to have out on a job. It's just more efficient. It fits the skid better. There's just a lot of good reasons to have a 100-gallon bleach tank. We put them in the back. The reason why I put it in the back is if you're running your pressure washer, you're going to want to see the water levels. If you come around and look here, you can quickly look and see how much water you have. Of course, you don't want to run your pressure washer without water. It's going to mess with your pump. Usually with your bleach, you can come around and look through the back part of the truck and see how much bleach you have. Let's take a look at this plumbing. Uniseals, 1/2-inch Curitech hose. See if I can get a view in here for you guys. Slotted PVC filter, piece of PVC that holds it. And then of course the hose that runs in. If you look at the way that this is plumbed all the way through. You don't have a bulkhead here. We don't like the bulkheads because what happens is the PVC pipe that screws into them just slaps back and forth, and that's usually an area where things start to crack. It's happened to us several times, and that's why we just don't build them like that anymore. All right. I'll leave that off for now. Come back to it. You got 2 water ports there. That's for your soft wash system. Then of course your bypass. If you look at this, this is a sweeping 90. Let's try to get it focused. So that's stainless steel. We could have used I don't know, just a regular steel 90 in there, and it probably would have been like $2 or $3, but then of course it wouldn't have been the best it can be. It would have corroded, and then you would have had issues, you know, long term down the road. So this is stainless steel. All of our hose clamps are stainless steel. We want these things to last. I built them like we were going to be using them for our own company. You know, the more maintenance you do, the more downtime that you're going to have. It's less time that you're out there making money. So $2.90 versus a $10.90. Sometimes it's just worth spending a couple extra bucks for something to last. And that's how we build it. 7-gallon soap tank. Here's your mixing system. I just posted a video on exactly how this all works. I don't want to bog down this video. I think we're getting up near 20 minutes. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content and all the details here that I share about these skids. But take a look at that video. That'll walk you through on how exactly this works. We got a 3-way rinse valve here, so you're able to keep this system fully rinsed out and make it last longer. Go around the back here and show you the pump plate. So we got our heavy duty marine grade waterproof switch there. Got the 7-gallon 100 PSI Remco pump. As you can see there, we've ran 3/4 hose from the mixer into the pump, and then it goes out from the pump down over to the hose reel. And you can see all the plumbing is super neat, super tidy, easy to work on. That's another thing I want to point out to you guys. If you had to work on this skid, something broke down, if you look at everything is accessible. Nothing's covered inside of a box that's super complicated to get to. If you have to work on your mixer, it's right there. If you have to replace a check valve. All the nuts and bolts are accessible. If you have to change your pump, it's just back there. You can actually get into your skid. That's another reason to keep this all empty. Everything's just so easy to work on, or built so you don't have to work on it. Same thing with the pressure washer. The way that this is laid out, you got your oil filter here. You can change all your oils. Everything's accessible from the bedside of the truck. There's going to be nothing hard about owning and operating this skid. And all that stuff has been well thought out over the years of us, working in our own business, running our own trucks, and just doing this time and time again. We've probably built 10 to 15 different layouts before we finally got it right. And this is the result of a lot of hard work, trial and error, to build something that's going to work the best for you guys out there. If you guys are looking for something like this, I'm going to put all my information down into the description, along with our website, pressurewashingskids.com. You can email me, tim@expertpowerwash.com. And I'll also put my phone number down there. So if you guys would like to give us a call, usually it's going to be myself or my wife that will answer the phone. And if you happen to get her, I'll tell you, she's very, very well versed on these things. Back early on, she used to turn wrenches with me. She has built plenty of these with me. So she should be able to handle a lot of your questions. Or if you'd like to wait to talk to me, we can set up some time, and I'll make sure I'm available to talk to you guys about these skids. All right, I appreciate you guys tuning in, watching the video. Any comments or questions that you may have, drop them down there in the description, and I'll see you guys on the next skid.